What happens when a kingdom tries to transplant an entire society? In 17th century Ireland, the plantation of Ulster was exactly that, a massive relocation of people designed to secure English control. But this uprooting of communities and imposition of a new order sparked a conflict that would define generations. The price paid in displacement, the resilience of those who endured, and the long shadow cast by this grand experiment. That's the heart of this story. The 17th century was a time of immense change in Ireland. The island was undergoing a transformation that would leave an indelible mark on its history and culture. This period was characterized by a series of conflicts, power shifts, and social upheavals that would shape the future of the nation. The island found itself at the heart of a power struggle between England and the Gaelic Irish order. This struggle was not just a battle for control, but also a clash of cultures, ideologies, and a way of life. The English sought to impose their rule and their way of life on the Irish, while the Gaelic Irish fought to preserve their own traditions and autonomy. Nowhere was more evident than in Ulster, the northernmost province of Ireland. Ulster became the focal point of these conflicts, a region where the stakes were highest and the changes most profound. The landscape of Ulster, with its rolling hills and fertile lands, became a battleground for competing visions of Ireland's future. This region became the stage for a dramatic social and political experiment known as the Plantation of Ulster. The plantation was not just a policy but a grand vision, an attempt to reshape the very fabric of Ulster society. It was a bold and ambitious project, one that would have far reaching consequences for the people of Ulster and beyond. The plantation was a government sponsored colonization project designed to replace the existing Gaelic population with loyal Protestant settlers from England and Scotland. These settlers were seen as a means to secure English control over the region, to create a loyal and stable population that would support English rule. The arrival of these settlers marked the beginning of a new era in Ulster, one characterized by profound demographic and cultural changes. It was a brutal and disruptive process, uprooting thousands of people and forever altering the culture and religious landscape of Ulster. The Gaelic Irish were displaced from their ancestral lands, their communities broken apart, their way of life irrevocably changed. The new settlers brought with them their own customs, beliefs, and ways of life, creating a complex and often contentious mosaic of cultures in Ulster. The plantation wasn't simply about land ownership, it was about control, power, and the imposition of a new order. The English authorities sought to transform Ulster into a model of English governance, a region where their laws, customs, and religion would prevail. This was a calculated attempt to reshape the identity of Ulster, to make it a stronghold of English influence in Ireland. It was a calculated attempt to solidify English control over Ireland, suppress Gaelic culture, and establish a Protestant stronghold in a predominantly Catholic island. The plantation was part of a broader strategy to integrate Ireland into the English realm, to make it a loyal and productive part of the kingdom. This strategy involved not just the settlement of new populations, but also the suppression of existing ones, the imposition of new laws, and the promotion of new cultural norms. The consequences of this ambitious undertaking would reverberate for centuries, shaping the relationship between Ireland and England and contributing to the complex tapestry of identity and conflict that exists in Northern Ireland to this day. The legacy of the plantation of Ulster is still felt in the cultural, religious, and political divisions that characterize Northern Ireland. It is a story of change, conflict, and resilience, a testament to the enduring impact of history on the present. The plantation of Ulster didn't emerge out of thin air. The seeds of the project were sown in the late 16th century during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I. England had long struggled to establish control over Ireland, facing fierce resistance from the powerful Gaelic clans. After the 9 Years' War, a major rebellion led by Hugh O'Neill, the English crown saw an opportunity to reshape the political landscape of Ulster. Small-scale plantations were initiated, primarily in County Antrim, with English adventurers like Sir John Perrott and Sir Thomas Smith granted land confiscated from rebellious Irish lords. These early attempts at plantation were characterized by limited success and ongoing conflict with the native Irish. However, they provided a blueprint for the much larger and more systematic colonization that would follow under King James VI and First. The lessons learned from these initial ventures, both in terms of logistics and the necessity for greater crown involvement, would prove crucial in shaping the official plantation of Ulster. If you're learning a lot from this video and want to support my channel, please like the video, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to stay updated on new releases. And don't forget, if you ever need assistance with your own genealogy research or have a video suggestion, in the description of most of my videos, there's a link where you can reach out and ask your question. The death of Queen Elizabeth I in 1603 marked the end of an era for England. Her reign had been characterized by the consolidation of power and the expansion of English influence, both at home and abroad. With her passing, James VI of Scotland ascended to the throne of England, uniting the two crowns as James I. This union of crowns was not just a political formality, it signified a new chapter in the history of the British Isles. This event had profound implications for Ireland, a land that had long been a point of contention and conflict. The new king saw Ireland not merely as a troublesome neighbor, but as a land of untapped potential. James envisioned the island as a potential source of wealth and a strategic bulwark against Catholic powers in Europe. His ambitions for Ireland were grand and far-reaching. Following the flight of the Earls in 1607, when several powerful Gaelic lords fled Ulster from mainland Europe, the political landscape of Ireland was dramatically altered. Seizing this opportunity, James confiscated vast tracts of land in Ulster, the northern province of Ireland. This was not a hasty decision, but a calculated move to reshape the region. This paved the way for the official plantation of Ulster, a much grander and more ambitious scheme than anything attempted previously. The goal was to establish a loyal and Protestant population in the region. And in 1609, the plantation was formally launched. This was a monumental task that required meticulous planning and execution. It was a complex undertaking involving the surveying, division, allocation of land to English and Scottish settlers, known as These undertakers were not just landowners, but were expected to fulfill specific obligations. Undertakers were required to meet specific criteria, including building fortified houses to protect against potential uprisings and attacks. These fortified houses were not just homes, but symbols of English and Scottish authority. They were also tasked with attracting tenants from England or Scotland, thereby ensuring a steady influx of loyal settlers who would support the Crown's interests in the region. Additionally, the leasing of land to native Irish tenants was strictly prohibited. This policy was designed to minimize the influence of the native Irish population and to solidify control of the new settlers over the region. The plantation of Ulster was overseen by key figures who shaped its course and left a lasting mark on the region. This ambitious project was not just a simple colonization effort, but a complex and multifaceted endeavor that involved strategic planning, legal frameworks, and military enforcement. The key figures behind this monumental task were King James I, Arthur Chichester, and John Davies, each bringing their unique skills and perspectives to the table. King James I was the driving force behind the project. He saw it as a way to secure his claim to Ireland and establish a loyal Protestant population. His vision was to transform Ulster into a region that would be both economically prosperous and politically stable, serving as a bulwark against any potential rebellions. James believed that by planting loyal subjects in Ulster, he could create a new society that would be a model of English governance and culture. Arthur Chichester, I hope I'm saying that right, was the Lord Deputy of Ireland. He was the king's principal administrator and a ruthless enforcer of the plantation policy. Chichester's role was crucial in implementing the king's vision on the ground. He was known for his uncompromising stance and his ability to execute the plantation plans with precision. His administrative skills and military background made him the perfect candidate to oversee such a challenging project. He played a pivotal role in suppressing Irish resistance and attracting Scottish settlers, particularly from the lowlands. Chichester's efforts were instrumental in ensuring the plantation was populated by individuals who were loyal to the crown and willing to adopt the new way of life that the English administration was promoting. His ability to manage both the settlers and the local Irish population was key to the plantation's initial success. John Davies, the Attorney General for Ireland, was a legal mind who worked to legitimize the plantation through legal frameworks and land surveys. Davies was not just a legal expert, but also a visionary who saw the potential of the plantation to transform Irish society. He believed by introducing English laws and customs, the plantation could bring about a new era of order and civilization to Ireland. He believed in the civilizing mission of the English law and saw the plantation as a way to bring order to a supposedly lawless land. Davies' work involved meticulous planning and creation of legal documents that would ensure the smooth transfer of land and the establishment of new settlements. His belief in the superiority of English law and the culture was a driving force behind his efforts to make the plantation a success. Together, these men represented the driving forces behind the plantation. The Crown's desire for power and security, the administrative might of the English state, and this belief in the superiority of English law and culture. Their combined efforts had laid the foundation for what would become a significant chapter in Irish history. The Ulster Plantation was not just a colonization effort, but a transformative project that aimed to reshape the social, political, and economic landscape of Ireland. Through their vision and determination, James I, Chichester, and Davies left an indelible mark on the history of the region. The arrival of thousands of settlers from England and Scotland led to a dramatic clash of cultures in Ulster. The settlers, primarily Protestant farmers and tradesmen, brought with them their own customs, language, and religion. They viewed the native Irish predominantly Catholic and still clinging to their Gaelic traditions with suspicion and often outright hostility. The plantation created a deeply divided society, with the settlers occupying positions of power and privilege, while the native Irish were relegated to the margins. Many Irish were displaced from their ancestral lands, forced to eke out a living as laborers or tenants on the land that was once theirs. Resentment simmered beneath the surface, fueling future conflict and shaping the sectarian divisions that would plague Ulster for centuries to come. But the story of the plantation of Ulster doesn't end in Ireland. The descendants of these Ulster Scots, or also known as Scots-irish, would become some of the great migrations in history. In the 18th and 19th century, many Scots-Irish and others would leave Ulster seeking new opportunities and to escape economic hardship and religious discrimination. They would embark on journeys across the ocean, contributing to the settlement and development of new nations. Large numbers migrated to what would become the United States, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, carrying with them their unique Scots-Irish culture, traditions, and resilience. This included their distinct dialect, the Presbyterian faith, and their strong sense of community, all of which would leave an enduring legacy on these new lands. If you have ancestors from any of these places, understanding the plantation of Ulster is crucial. It provides essential context for the challenges they faced, the culture they carried, and ultimately the story of how they got here. It's a key piece to the puzzle in understanding your own family's journey. I plan to make future videos following our Scots-Irish ancestors as they settle in their new lands. So as we've explored, the plantation of Ulster was a pivotal moment in history, with far-reaching consequences that continue to shape our world. It was a time of conflict, change, and ultimately resilience. Understanding the complex history is essential to anyone seeking to uncover their own roots and the stories of their ancestors. If you want to delve deeper into other related stories, be sure to check out the videos that will be popping up on the screen here. And if you already started diving into researching your ancestry, click on the playlist here as it will help you dig deeper. And remember, every family has a story to tell, and every story is worth exploring. So keep searching for your ancestors and have a great day.